everybody's having a good summer. It's hard to believe that fall is right around the corner. It doesn't feel like fall outside, but it's been a fast year again. Unfortunately, I was in a Zoom call earlier with my good friend John Miller, and we talked about, unfortunately, the upswing in the COVID virus and the positives that we're getting, and hopefully we can avoid another situation that we've been in. Seems like a cycle, but hopefully our hospital partners can stay strong, and let's keep them in our thoughts. Today we have, and being a small business owner, I always like to listen to V talk about things that are happening out there in the business world, and the things that consumers are having to go through. And we definitely, in my business, try not to end up on her bad list. But today we have V Daniels, who's the executive director of the Better Business Bureau, and she always has a wealth of information for us. So with that, I'll turn it over to V.
Well, thanks, Terrence. Thanks for the great introduction. And I'm really excited today. I think, actually, I'm always excited when I'm talking about scams, just because it's really sad that so many people are actually, it seems like the scams are growing instead of decreasing, they're increasing. And, you know, just every day, I'm sure everybody gets the scam calls on their phone, and then you get your email scams. Yeah, today, well, it started yesterday. We had a guy call and he said, "Is we there?" And so Tammy's like, "We don't have a we." And he says, "Well, is it maybe V?" And so I got on the phone and I was like, "Yeah, hi, this is V." And he said, he just kind of went silent, and he was a foreign guy, so, and with broken English, and which made me skeptical. And then he says, "So you're V Jackson?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." And I said, "Why are you calling?" And he just hung up. And I just wondered, I was like, I wondered what he was calling for to be able to start. But sometimes that's good, because I like it when they hang up and you start asking questions and they hang up. But then there's times where they start with their high pressure and a lot of that stuff. But the number one generation is the seniors, and actually there's two. Seniors and millennials are the two number one generations to get scams. But today I want to talk more about the scams targeting businesses, small businesses, and consumers, and then tips. I'll end with the tips and prevention tips, and then who you call if you've got a scam or if you want to ask somebody about a scam. So go ahead and Justine, if you'll advance to the next the next slide is is actually a video that is probably one of the most interesting ones that I watch, and actually it's really sad how it played out. They ended up with somewhat of some good results. So if she can play that, I wanted for everyone to see this.
It worked perfectly when we just did it before.
This may be.
Hold for one moment.
There it goes.
Okay, does everyone see the CBS this morning?
I don't.
All righty. Here we go. We good?
Yeah, it's a little green, but it's
Welcome
good.
back to CBS This Morning. There's been a huge spike in internet scams targeting Americans. The FBI says 2020 was a record year with almost 800,000 complaints. This year, investigators expect around 1 million. The financial losses last year totaled more than $4 billion, and the scams are getting much more sophisticated. Our consumer investigative correspondent Anna Werner visited a small business in Maine that was targeted by fraudsters. Anna, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony. And this is a story that these business owners wanted to tell to warn others, because they say the damage to small businesses can not only hurt that business, but the employees who rely on it, even the local economy.
On any lake in Maine, chances are you'll see Sam Merriam's boat docks lining the shore.
A lot of docks.
There's a lot of docks.
His company, Great Northern Docks, custom builds the platforms and parts, employing 20 people. But he says he came close to losing it all last October when the company's accountant went online to send out the weekly payroll from KeyBank.
It was like a bombshell. It was unthinkable what happened.
Accountant Shelley Brown says she'd just gotten a new computer the day before, and in order to send out the payroll, she searched the internet for the bank's payroll website called Key Navigator and logged on.
Was it pretty much the first site that came up?
Yes, you'd put in your same username, password.
Once on the site, she says, a message said it was undergoing system maintenance. But then her phone rang, showing Key Bank on the caller ID.
Telling me again that the system was under maintenance and they should have it fixed within a few hours.
Later that day, she checked the site again and got a second phone call.
And they said, well, we're not going to be able to get it done today, but you should be able to be up and running by morning.
Seems totally normal.
Yes.
But the next morning, she had an email from the bank,
Which said
that we had overdrawn our account. We never overdraw funds, ever. So I knew something was up at that point.
Brown says she immediately logged onto the bank's website from her home computer and saw withdrawal after withdrawal. $4,000, $18,000, $51,000.
when you realized that,
Sick to my stomach.
And then she had to tell her boss, Miriam.
And she said, something's very wrong. I've got all these transactions that have happened, and I can't explain them.
68 transactions in all.
It just felt devastating. I don't know how else to say it.
$249,000 gone.
It was totally shocking. And I think of Sam as a brother, and his reason for wanting me to be in the role I was in, because he could trust me.
you feel like you let somebody down.
Well, it's my job.
Miriam's company fell victim to internet scammers, who the FBI says are increasingly targeting American businesses. Cyber Division Unit Chief Donna Gregory.
On the business side, there's a lot more money. It's a bigger bang for the buck. You're going to get, 6 figures or more.
Those scammers set up fraudulent sites that can look identical to the real ones, like the KeyBank site Miriam's bookkeeper logged onto. A cybersecurity firm he hired found it was a fraudulent site that behaved just like the genuine site. And the people who called her? The crooks themselves, with a faked caller ID that said KeyBank.
The criminals are very good at this. They've actually really perfected this over time. It's a business.
But Miriam says he didn't originally think he'd lose the whole $250,000. He says his contract with KeyBank called for it not to allow payouts greater than $25,000 per week. But he says the bank later told him it wasn't responsible.
And I said, so you're saying I'm on my own? He said, unfortunately, yes.
KeyBank would not comment on Miriam's case, but it confirmed a trend of spoofed websites and said it has identified and helped to take down approximately 150 of those fake sites. The bank says it takes steps to alert clients so they can avoid becoming a victim of fraud and works directly with clients to recover any losses that they can. But Miriam and Brown say in their case, the bank's security protocols failed.
I feel that KeyBank really let us down.
You're mad.
I am mad. I think the bank should be protecting us as customers, consumers, and they didn't.
Miriam says he was fortunate enough to sustain the loss and keep his employees in their jobs, but he's speaking out to warn others.
I feel like I have a moral obligation to, as a survivor, I have a moral obligation to warn other business owners.
Well, so initially, about $66,000 of that roughly $250,000 was recovered by the bank. It hadn't gone out yet. But Miriam believed the bank should make up the rest, so he hired a lawyer to negotiate. Now, they had previously told us they were not making much progress, but since we reached out to KeyBank this week, that has changed. The matter has quickly been settled, we're told.
Yay.
And if you've had this happen with KeyBank or any others, we want to hear from you. Email us at consumer@cbsnews.com. Please tell us your story.
Well, Anna's very
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? I haven't really, I mean, that's the beauty of it too, that we see so many scammers that they get embarrassed and they won't go online or won't talk to the media. But that is the best way to get the word out is, is to actually educate those so that it won't happen to them. So, but we'll move on to the next. We'll start with scams, talking about more scams and telling you a little bit about what the scam is. And then, but the first one is going to be our business email compromise scam, which is more of a email scam, but go to the next. Okay. This email, it's the email compromise fraud. It's an email phishing scam that targets people online and basically with those that are paying bills online or dealing with the government line. And they actually, this happens to a lot with nonprofits. We've seen it a lot. It has resulted in more losses than any other type of fraud in the U.S. And according to the FBI, the scammer poses a vendor or other trusted source who sends his email out, and they normally are wanting to talk with someone I put account, but it should be accountant or chief financial officer, and then the email asks them to wire, buy gift cards. Send personal information, and then basically after that, the money's sent and it goes into the account. But unfortunately, again, the account is controlled by the con artist. Something kind of like what we just saw. They, act like it's going to go, to something else. Kind of like it's almost like an invoice sometimes. But I don't know if your business has ever seen it, but they're very common. We'll talk about a little bit about the prevention tips. I'm going to move on to the next one. This is phony invoices scams. We see a lot of this. I'm going to go to the next slide. We see a lot of the phony fake scams for payments for product services. Office supplies are the most common, websites, your domain service, directory listings, promotional items. We had the chamber a couple years ago. One of the chambers called us that they got an invoice for promotional items, and they never ordered these promotional items. They were bags. They never ordered them. The invoice came in. It wasn't a larger amount, so they ended up paying it. And they went through it and realized we never ordered these, and it ended up being a scam company that they ended up talking with us about. We ended up helping them shut their website down, to try to help control it. But the phony email scam, invoice scams, when the guy called me yesterday with the Scott, he said, I think he just wanted me to keep saying yes. Is this V? Yes. Is this? And then they record you, and then they send, like on these phony invoices, they'll say, well, so-and-so said, I could send you a recording where they agreed to do this, to buy the phony office supplies that they were never going to receive. So, like I said, generally the amount is small enough to not raise a red flag. So it happens a lot. And let's go to the next one, stolen identity scam. And we'll move to the next slide. The stolen identity scam is scammers often pretend to be from a legitimate company in order to trick consumers. Scammers set up fake websites, and they hijack your company name and your address. And they may also use branding hijacking, which they call it, where the misuse of the common logos and websites can impersonate, where you might see in that email, I'll say like American Airlines, promotion or something like that in the email. Well, they've stolen their email, their logos. It's actually logo infringement, and they deceive unsuspected visitors. in this con, the company doesn't necessarily lose money. However, they do have a problem with the reputation. Is their reputation being tarnished? Because what happens is the angry customers are now calling them because they got all their information from the conners. And then they have to think that the real company, the consumers, and the businesses sometimes that are dealing with business to business, they think it's, them that's doing it. We have Scam Tracker, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but we have a Scam Tracker where, you can actually report a scam. Last week, we had a $22,000 scam that was actually from a business, and this is what happened. The scammers actually took their LLC name and started using it, built a website, and the company is not even this type of business, but what they were doing is they were saying that they were trying to help people get out of their timeshare, and they got an elderly gentleman in California, and he ended up wiring them $22,000. We ended up talking with our local little FBI guy here, and he saw that there was another one that was in New York where they lost $14,000. But what happened is, it's really sad when it happens to your business, because you have these people calling thinking that you are the con artist, and you're not the con artist. But, that's why they talk about tarnishing your reputation. So you see it more to more. These scammers are very, very good about duplicating. So we've seen it where we had one that we went to the media with, WSPA with a couple of months ago. And, the company, word from word, they stole the whole website from them. And it is crazy, but I'll say one of the tips there is, if you have a website, you might want to take a paragraph or two and copy it and put it in your little browser every once in a while to see if it pops up the same information pops up on another website. So we'll go on from the stolen identity scam. Sponsorship and directory listing scams. A lot of businesses, more nonprofits are selling, sponsorships and directory listings. And this scam has plagued businesses for decades. Scam artists attempt to fool businesses to paying for listing or ad space in a non-existent directory. They use the internet for sponsorships offered by businesses and nonprofits, and they troll it. They, say for instance, the Better Business Bureau, we do sponsorships. They go into our website, see that we do it, and the scammers have, then they go in and they do their homework, and they'll include well-known nonprofits and business sponsors, and they'll even talk to you about the real businesses directory packets and what they offer. And unfortunately, they might use this lie about being with a legitimate directory. They even, there's such as the Yellow Pages. There are good people that call from the Yellow Pages. They still do to buy your directories. I don't know how many people buy them anymore, but either way, the businesses build hundreds of dollars for listings that they never agreed to, for the ads that they never placed. And actually, this one's been around for a long time. It's not something that's just recently happened. It's been around for a long time. They just continue to do these little twists on it, and they put it back out there. So that's our sponsorship and directory listing sales. The office supply scam is kind of what I mentioned a little bit earlier, is where they go in and they try to sell you office supplies. They try to say they got a big supply of office supplies. They're putting a good price on it. And normally, they're talking to somebody in your office. They tend to seem like, I don't know how they end up knowing this, but it's not normally the owner they're talking to, but it's maybe someone that's, that's answering the phone, a receptionist. And they end up trying to get, kind of talking them into a good value, but they never receive the office supplies. But they see that not them, but normally it's the accountant that receives the office supply bill, and then they'll pay for it. If it's a small amount, we see that, that they don't catch on. But if it's a larger amount, we normally have them where they'll tend to call us and say, have you ever heard of this business? So, it's always good when you do a little research before you say yes or sign that contract. That's the best way. So don't be fooled if, you have somebody trying to sell you office supplies. And if you have a larger business, I would be there with your accountant and maybe whoever orders the office supplies or whoever they would transfer to them in the office, and just talk to them about it. Because it is again, it's a long-term one, but it's one that we've seen from especially with COVID. I don't know why with COVID, but in 2020, those cases creeped up. Online purchases. We are seeing more online purchase scams, mainly because of, social media. I don't know how many of you are on social media, if you have a Facebook page, but I swear every third post now is a sponsored ad from this clothing company that has these cute bathing suits for the summer. Or, the other day my husband was like, look at this cool hat, fishing hat. I'm like, we are not buying anything. We don't know anything about this business. Let me look them up. But actually, Christmas time and, last year was a big uptake in the online purchases scams. And what they do is, they entice you by Facebook with showing you something nice, or maybe they've set up a website. And normally it's kind of crazy. Either you definitely don't get it, like the complaints that we receive here at the BBB, that they don't get the bathing suit they've ordered, or the cute dress, or the hat, the fishing hat, they don't get it. But we had one where they were, they were trying to get a larger item, which was hundreds of dollars, but they sent them different things. They sent them a pair of socks. They sent them a little bubble gum ring. I mean, it's almost like they were playing with them, but then they had their money. So, just be careful when you're doing online purchase scams. And, when it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If that gut feeling is, there's something just not right with this, go with your gut feeling. Coupon books. We haven't really seen this one before, but the coupon books, and I love coupon books. I get the Greenville one, the Spartanburg one. I love those coupon books, but this talks about, businesses are often approached for the coupon book promotions, and they're offering discounts that are sold by promoters to consumers. But they make that basically what they're doing is they're being promoted by a business you trust. They're saying they're promoted by a business you can trust, and basically they do their homework as well. But what you're going to end up doing is they're going to say you're going to buy, have one little discount page in their coupon book, but then you get this large bill that it's 3 of these coupon books. But the sad part, the coupon never existed from the first place, so you're not going to get it. With the coupon book, we are kind of fortunate because we know, like the ones that I buy every year, we know they're local people, and that do it. And so, just try to be a little bit more savvy. And if you get a phone call from this, normally they're, they do them by phone calls and emails and all that kind of stuff. But, if they say they're in New York and it's a local book, it's probably pretty hard for that New York company to go in and get, 250 people to advertise in their coupon book. So, be leery of that and make sure that you're looking up the company before you would purchase or do a promotional ad in their book. COVID family funeral scam. This is something that came up with, never really thought that this would happen. And I think it's very sad. But what they did was they started targeting families that actually were victims of COVID that passed. And they claimed that they were with the reimbursement, reimbursement with FEMA had a reimbursement that they did. But they acted as a FEMA person, and they actually followed up with them about the, the discounts and the reimbursements and everything like that from FEMA. but and they asked for them to register with them. But the thing is what they were doing is stealing their identity, because they were getting their social security numbers, and they were getting, their phone numbers, addresses, all, identifiable, information from them. So it's really sad when they prey on times like that. But that's how scammers do. I mean, just like Christmas time, like last year with the online purchases, we've never seen so many complaints. But they see that perfect time and they go after it, and it just, so I think it was great that, that FEMA was doing this, but it turned into almost like a disaster, because they had so many people that were that turned it into a scam. Preventative tips on all the complaints. I just kind of looked at things that we were talking. The scams that we were talking about today, but don't give out any identifiable or financial information to anyone you don't know, or someone that you've never met face to face. Resist the pressure to act quickly. If they have a deal for you, most likely they'll have that deal for you tomorrow. So I always say, hang up the phone, do your research. And if it's something that you find that maybe is legitimate, then give them a call back. But if you look up their phone number and it has on Google, and all the things are pointing to scam, then you're not going to have to worry about calling them back. Never send money by gift cards. I don't know why the gift cards thing has started coming out. They ask for Walmart gift cards. They ask for Best Buy gift cards. They have a grandparent scam, which is a senior scam that a lot of grandparents have ended up buying these gift cards. One lady lost $4,000. She went to Walmart and bought 8 $500 gift cards because she was told that her son was in trouble, and he was actually traveling, and he was away from home, and that her grandson was in trouble, and that they needed to get this money in order to get him out of jail. And he was never in jail, and they actually did that. But never wire money, share debit card information. Even if you're paying online, use your credit card. Don't ever use your debit card. It's easier to work with your credit card company these days, and I hate to say it, more than your bank. But ask lots of questions, and many times once you start asking questions, they will end the call. I mean, just like yesterday when I started asking this guy questions, I mean, it was boom, hang up. But they like to ask all the questions. They don't want you to ask anything, but when you do, they could try to get off the phone really fast. Think before you click on links and emails, text message, and social media messages from strangers. I mean, we recently did a employee agreement about, and talked about, with the links and stuff and what to look out for, and got them not just to, talk to them about it, but actually got them to sign it, because that can really end up spoofing, or you're end up spoofing somebody else. And then, next thing you know, you have 100 people calling you and saying, I got this email from you. Is this really you? Are you really saying this stuff? And then check security settings and beware of too good to be true deals. And when I've talked about security, when you're on a actual website, make sure it's saying the HTTPS in your URL. And there's usually that small little lock icon on the address bar, which should be there, and make sure it's secure. When you're, and especially when they're taking you from like an online purchase, and next thing you're on their website, and then they're taking you to another location to either pay or look at something, just make sure that you're, definitely on a secure site. Take caution when buying online, when a purchase takes you to, when it takes you to another website to pay. And then read the full contract, and especially the fine print when you're dealing with someone. It is amazing to us, being the Better Business Bureau, that we handle disputes that, they'll say, I'm sorry, but I never really saw that in the contract. I was talking to a lady that they just sold their house, And the couple that was there had said that had put in the contract with the realtor to that they wanted to stay in the house for 6 months with no rent. Well, they missed that part of the contract, and then they sold their house. So now they're having to get a rental house to stay in because it's just crazy. So, reading that fine print is very important. And let's think. And when you think it's a scam, before you do anything else, tell a friend, a family friend, neighbor, BBB employee, what happened, whoever it is, because talking about it could make you realize it is a scam. And I especially do that with my mom. My mom is 84 years old. She lives by herself, and she is constantly, telling me about these phone calls, and I keep, I remind her. Sometimes I'm successful, and sometimes I haven't been I don't think I've been very successful, because she has fallen for some scams. But, it is important, especially if you have, elderly parents, to talk to them about the scams that maybe you see or hear about, and, give them tips, because we have seen it. We personally haven't seen it here at our BBB, but there has been BBB where seniors have lost their whole life savings. I mean, they have basically cleared the bank account out. So, I never really realized before I came to the BBB, I started in 2011, that, people could be so cruel. But, it's just a reality in today's time. And until I think there is some kind of regulation on the internet, and there's some penalties that go along with it, that we're going to continue to see the uptake of scams increasing instead of decreasing. So I'll end with, let's see here. Next, oops. What is it, who do I call to report or to receive assistance, hear or learn about more scams? We have a scam tracker that we started in 2015, and that's how we caught the one that was the $22,000 timeshare identity theft kind of scam against that business here locally last week. And you can actually, if you have a scam, or if you just want to look and see what scams are happening, people can actually go in and report a scam. We tend to work a lot with media. If we see, I think it was over a year ago, puppy scams were really big, where people were advertising puppies for sale online. People, it was crazy of the deposits that they were getting, people were giving and not even knowing who they were dealing with. But, they had it, it was, again, it's another sad thing, because, they fall in love with these pictures. And then we had it where one of the puppy scams had 5 different websites. And they just open and close different websites wherever they were going. They said they were here at a location in Spartanburg. The media went to the location, and it was a couple's home that had been there for like 20, 25 years. And the older gentleman said, I was wondering why I kept getting all this man's email, and not email, mail, excuse me. And so, just, be careful, and you can report, and that is bbb.org/scam tracker. So if you want to take a look at it, the BBB is here to research a scam business or individual, should you are wondering if that business is really a scam, to assist. And if you know anybody that it's happened to, we had a painter that called us a couple weeks ago that they had a problem with a scammer and ended up losing $7,000. So what we try to do is just say, get as much information as you can while you're on the phone. Take good notes. Tell your mother to take good notes. Tell your grandmother to take good notes, because it is really sad when they call and say, only thing I really know is, he was saying something about a sweepstake and I won something, but I don't know what the company's name is. Well, we can't really do any research without a name or a phone number or an address. But so we just tell people as much information as they can. That would be very helpful. AARP has a wonderful watchdog scam alerts that they send out, so you can actually join that. There is a link in here, but I can get all the links to Justine. She can send them out, but they do great scam alerts. And actually, we publish some of those the AARP to our social media and stuff like that to help people. And if a scam is an online fraud scam, which I thought was because this guy that last week when they stole the company's identity, where the guy lost the $22,000, I thought it would be like the local FBI, but it's actually ic3.gov, which is FBI, but it's only online fraud. So anytime you have online fraud, you can do the ic3.gov and you can file a complaint. And when I talked to him about that one, Matt Jacobson that's here with FBI mentioned to me that, that's how he was able to say that, yeah, ooh, there's another one that just happened in New York, this whole, scam. So it's, I would definitely say it's an avenue. And then the Federal Trade Commission is the government agency where you can report scams and you can file a complaint. With us, a scam is more for our scam tracker. It's not for us when we're going back and forth. We might see a scam or a scam business through our complaint process, but normally it's not where, you go to file a complaint on on a scammer. That's more through our scam tracker. So, there are avenues of assistance. Like I said, Kim in our office, she is constantly, our phone usually rings off the hook, and it's normally where, they just need help of trying to figure out, should I do this? Should I take this deal that they're offering me? And that we try to take those steps to look them up before we would say, oh, yes, you should, or no, you shouldn't. So, utilize the BBB. And again, like the AARP is another great organization that knows a lot about scams. They fight all the time, and even with legislation and everything to try to control it. But we are where we are with the scams. But last but not least, on the last the last screen, I can't see it because I'm over here, but we have every year the BBB does, because we're all about we have an education foundation, and part of our education foundation is not just with scams, because we go in and do we actually do scam presentations to seniors, and we do it normally groups, either churches or some kind of group that a senior is in, but we go in and talk to them about scams and prevention tips. But we also talk about, we do 8 community free shred days, because in our mission, it is to actually help with prevention of identity theft. So we have free shred days coming up, 2 in September and then 2 in October. And I can send those flyers to Justine to get out to everyone. But if you don't shred at home, this is definitely a way that you can bring your shred. And we do have shred trucks here every single time they are shredding. And but it's just something that we feel like it's definitely a good community service for consumers and businesses. And that's pretty much all I have. Do we have any questions?
Well, thank you, V. And if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat. It does, and you mentioned this, it absolutely amazes me. If people would spend as much energy in doing good as they spend in doing things that are nefarious, we would be a far better place. And, I think the fact that, you and the Better Business Bureau and others, have to really spend so much time, keeping up with them is just an amazing thing, but it's very helpful. I think one of the things I heard from you that I think is very true is the whole mantra, if it's too good to be true, it is. And I have seen, especially during COVID, as you said, when folks were we were all shopping so much more online, these too good to be true prices for items. And it's amazing because they would create websites or things that, I mean, they just look absolutely legitimate.
Legit. Mhm.
But they're not. And it's just crazy. I wanted to ask, and then we'll move on with the rest of the program. But I did want to ask you about specifically, especially in the construction industry, which has been, right now is at such a high level of use that it's hard to get contractors and things of that nature. How do you, I know there's a way through the BBB, to make sure they're certified and things of that nature. How do you guys, how does that work if you want to do home, things at your home, or if people come to your house and say, I'll, power wash, or I'll do this or that? How, and are you seeing more of that because of the fact that, it is very hard to get a regular contractor these days?
Mm-hmm. Well, we average about, well, it used to be about 50, but since COVID, it's about 80,000 to our directory. On each BBB, we have over 100 BBBs all throughout the US and Canada. And so we have our own, each BBB has our own directory, which has great information about businesses, and it'll tell you if they're accredited. And if they're accredited with the Better Business Bureau, they have to agree to our 8 standards of trust, just basically being transparent, being honest, advertise honestly, all that down the road. But when we actually have accredited business, or we're vetting, which I do a lot of the vetting with them, is we have to include that they're licensed actually. And we just denied two businesses that applied just because they were not licensed. And if we're going to give somebody an A+ rating, I don't think you need an A+ rating if you're not licensed. So we do that. You can go to bbb.org, and even if somebody's calling you or you're trying to buy something that's in Tennessee, bbb.org, type the name of the company in. If you're looking for somebody to use, you can type the type of business. Say you're looking for a heating and air contractor. You just type in heating contractor, Greenville, South Carolina, and it brings up, it tells you the ones that are accredited and not. We do publish complaints. So when a business gets complaints, we publish that. We have customer reviews. So you can make up your own mind if you'd like to use that business or not. And that's why we did start publishing, is because consumers were saying it would be nice to know a little bit of the details about a company and how they do business with a consumer. So that kind of tells those facts. So the BBBs have been around 100 years, and the number one thing we try to do is help consumers find businesses they can trust, because we want to build a great marketplace between consumers and businesses here in our 10-county service area. With the BBB here, we serve our 10-county service area. So when you file a complaint, it would have to be on a complaint here in the Upstate on a business. If it is in Tennessee and you file it, we transfer it to Tennessee and they handle it, because we feel like it's local, it's local, and you can work through that.
Perfect.
And we also do arbitrations and mediations too. So if you get where you can't work it out, we have actually wonderful attorneys here in Greenville and Spartanburg, and I think in Greenwood now, that do it pro bono work. And so, if you can't work it out, because we stay a neutral party during the complaint process, then they'll work it out.
Great. Well, again, thank you, V, and Erica or Justine, if you would make sure and put the email or the website address, and there's the article that V wrote for our e-newsletter this week that has more details. So again, V, thanks for being a great partner and for all that you do in supporting businesses here in the Upstate.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I thank you all for tuning in.
Perfect. All right. So real quickly, we have a lot going on in August. I can't believe it's almost halfway through the month, but the second half of August is quite busy with events coming up. We have tomorrow our TATT Reconnect here in our office. For anyone who's interested, we're going to be talking, deep dive into business, looking at employee benefits and also COVID response. We have Jim Shue from Marsh & McClellan and George Shearer from Milliken. So it should be a great program. And, that's a small group that we've started. And so anyone who's interested, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, we'll have coffee and donuts. So we'd love to see you. Then in the next couple weeks, we have the first of our Safer Upstate virtual discussions is happening on the 25th. We have our Upstate Mobility Alliance connecting the dots coming up on the 24th of August. Then, of course, TATT Chat with SCRA coming up on the 26th. Then also on the 26th is Upstate Mobility Night at the Greenville Drive. If you're interested, there's going to be electric vehicles and other things there on the concourse. So that should be a really fun evening. And then our big event that I've talked about several times on the 30th is the Blues, Brews, and Barbecue event. And it is going to be great at the GSP Airport. And it is an outdoor event. We'll be under tents, but I know, there's been some concern certainly with COVID with bigger events, but we hope the fact that it is an outdoor event will make everybody feel a little bit better, and we will be following protocols as needed for that event. So definitely put that on your calendar. So with that, Justine, I'm going to let you introduce our resource folks.
All righty, thank you, Dean. We are happy to have with us two resource updates today. Amy Connor from New Horizon Family Health Center will be going first. Thank you, Amy.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Amy Connor with New Horizon Family Health Services. This week, we're in the throes of celebrating National Health Center Week, and Freddie knows. He was just at our office taking a tour earlier this week. Hi, Freddie. But really, National Health Center Week is just really an opportunity to recognize nationally the impact of health centers on the communities that we serve. If you don't know about community health centers, we are a primary care provider, a family doctor, and we're able to provide healthcare access to everyone in the community, whether or not they have health insurance. So we're not a free health clinic, but we do receive a little bit of federal funding to be able to provide healthcare access to individuals who are uninsured by offering a sliding fee discount scale to those individuals. And that's based on household income and family size. And then we also accept private insurance, Medicare, and Medicaid. So lots of our patients do have insurance. Our organization has been serving Greenville County since about 1992. We've got medical offices in Greenville, Greer, Travelers Rest, a dental office in Greenville, and a couple of mobile units, one dental and a couple of medical units. And as a primary care patient with the Community Health Center, patients can access all kinds of services, including behavioral health services, care management services. We have a team of social workers who connect individuals with resources to help with things like food insecurity or transportation challenges, or unsafe housing or lack of housing. So we can help with all of those items as well. We do have health educators, a full-time staff of clinical health educators, diabetic educator. A big piece of what we do, in addition to treating any medical issues, is to educate our patients to be able to help manage their chronic conditions and improve their health outcomes. And then we also have in-house pharmacies and laboratories, because we realize that a lot of folks, they struggle with transportation to the doctor's office. So it might be even harder for them to figure out how to get to a pharmacy. So we want to make sure that that is in-house for them. And as a community health center, we're able to offer really affordable prescriptions. And in some cases, depending on an individual's circumstance, they might even be able to get their medications for free. So we're really about removing any kind of barrier to healthcare access that we can. We are offering, I just want to let everyone know, we're offering the vaccine at all of the COVID vaccine at all of our locations. And here at the Greenville office on 975 West Ferris Road, you can just walk in. You don't even need an appointment, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3:30. So just in case anyone knows anyone that perhaps still needs to get the vaccine and might want to do that, I just wanted to let everyone know about that. Also, just a quick mention of two of our programs, the Ryan White program, it's located here in our Greenville office. And that program offers medical and support services to individuals in our community living with HIV or AIDS. It actually serves a 10-county area of the Upstate, but our services are actually here in the Greenville office. We also have the Healthcare for the Homeless program, which you might have seen our mobile medical unit traveling around. It serves 13 counties of the Upstate, and it's a 35-foot traveling doctor's office on wheels that goes and visits different shelters and community partners to provide access to healthcare. The second piece of that Healthcare for the Homeless program is our medical respite program, where we partnered with Miracle Hill Ministries back in 2019 to be able to provide a space for individuals experiencing homelessness who have been discharged from the hospital but really don't have a place to truly recover. And so we're able to provide them with medical support. And we have a team of social workers there as well to really help launch them into a better position, connect them with employment, as well as housing. So that is just my quick couple-minute summary of all of the services and programs that we have. If you want to learn more about us, visit us. I will. Oh yes, they're posting the website. My CEO has an article today in the chat newsletter or in the TATT newsletter. So if you want to learn more, just look at our website, newhorizonfhs.org, or follow us on social media. We've got Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So thanks again for the opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, so much good work. Thank you so much. And then next up we have Tracy Williams, and I really wanted to do a funny thing with the gleams, but I won't do it. I'm professional.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Gleamans.
I've heard that before, actually.
Sorry.
So, yeah. Well, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you so much to Dean and Justine for allowing me just a few minutes to share with you something wonderful, leadership opportunity that's happening here in Greenwood. As Justine mentioned, I'm Tracy Williams. I'm the co-chair of the 2021 Women's Leadership Upstate Conference, which is an initiative of the Greenwood SC Chamber of Commerce. This is our 6th conference, and we're thrilled that we can continue to offer this great leadership conference to women in the Upstate. We're excited about our 2 keynote speakers as well as our luncheon panel this year. One of our keynotes is, of course, our very own Lieutenant Governor, Pamela Evitt. She owns Quality Business Solutions and Travelers Rest. And we also have Dr. Christian Peel. She's a special assistant to the president and deputy director of management and administration at the White House. So both women will be able to share their unique perspectives on women in key leadership roles. We also have a diverse group of women presenters. This is an all-day conference, so it's just not the luncheon panel and the keynotes. We also have breakout sessions. Some of those will include emotional intelligence, leadership, health and well-being, communication, and many other topics. Now, we have several men that are on the call. I don't want you to think, because I said Women's Leadership Council Upstate Conference, that I'm leaving you out. You are invited too. So especially if you're at an organization where you may be mentoring some women, it's great to send the women to the conference, but to also show your support, attend as well, so that both of you can actually gain some of those interesting perspectives and actually talk about afterwards some of the things that you were able to learn at the conference. As I stated, this is an all-day conference. It's held always in Greenwood. As of right now, it's set for October the 15th. As many of you, Terrence and Dean have mentioned, COVID is playing a huge part in our planning, but hopefully if we have any changes, it will actually be on our Facebook page at SC Women's Leadership Upstate Conference, or you can visit our website where we'll also be posting updates at WLconferencesc.com. And also, V, I want you to know this is not a scam. We really have sponsorship opportunities. This is real. This is not a scam. So we have some sponsorship opportunities as well for you or your company if you're interested in it as well. If you just contact us through Facebook, or you can go to that website that I mentioned, WLConferencesc.com. We have the sponsorship packages listed there and contact information if you have any questions about the sponsorship package. And once again, just want to thank Justine and Dean for allowing me just a few minutes to share this great Women's Leadership Upstate Conference that we're holding in hopefully a few months if COVID works with us. So thank you.
Thank you, Trent C. I had the honor of meeting Trent C. I can't remember where it was now. It must have been here at our kind of.
I think the board meeting. The board meeting.
The board meeting. It was, you know, we got together, and we're still get together and see each other again, right, Terrence?
Yes, I hope you will be at Break on the Lake in a few weeks, right here in Greenwood. So I have it on my calendar to attend that event as well.
Yeah, thanks for the plug. Our TATT Reconnect. I'm sure Dean mentioned it as he was running through. Our Break on the Lake will be in Greenwood. That will be really, really fun. Okay, Mayor Roberts.
All right, good gracious.
You hit the mute button by accident, I think.
Mute.
Unmuted. There we go. I'm talking. It's good to hear everybody. A lot of good information, no doubt about it, from V and just the updates. And Dean, I'm very excited about the event out at GSP. And I think it will be a good event. It'll be good to hopefully be able to get together and socialize in a very safe way. So hope everybody gets to Friday, gets to weekend. Hope you get a time to kind of relax and recharge and get at it again next week. So thank you for coming. See you at the next TATT chat. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.